They call this the land of castles. Every mile or so, a monument of war stands against the sky, like spears driven deep into the fabric of history. But Wales is not just stone. Wales is the flesh and blood of a people who once defied the Roman Empire and kept their flame burning across millennia. Here, the voice of ancestors still echoes in the names of villages, names that no outsider can pronounce, as if to remind us that mere survival is the quietest form of resistance. Out there, sheep roam the rolling green hills where Celtic warriors once stood, gazing toward the sea. Wales endures. As resilient as the slate its people have quarried for centuries. A land of stillness, yet brimming with stories that refuse to be silenced. Snowdonia, or Eryri in Welsh, is a mountainous region in northwestern Wales and one of the most famous national parks in the United Kingdom. Established in 1951, it was the first national park in Wales and the third in the UK. The park covers an area of 823 square miles, approximately 2,130 kilometers, including both mountainous terrain and coastline. The name Snowdonia originates from Snowdon, Ynys, the highest mountain in Wales, standing at 1,085 meters. The landscape was shaped over hundreds of millions of years, from ancient ocean floors to volcanic activity and glaciation. U-shaped valleys, cirques, and small lakes are distinctive features of Snowdonia's terrain. The national park includes 37 miles, approximately 60 kilometers of coastline, with the estuaries of the Diffy, Modoc, and Dwyred rivers. Snowdonia is home to around 26,000 people, with over 60% of them able to speak Welsh, one of the oldest languages in Europe. The area is also rich in legends, including stories of King Arthur and a giant on Snowdon. It is also believed by some to be one of the places where the sword Excalibur was hidden. Snowdonia National Park attracts millions of visitors each year, mainly for climbing, hiking, and sightseeing. The Snowdon Mountain Railway offers transport to the summit. Key towns in the area include Bedwsy Coed and Llanberis, which serve as gateways to the park. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. Who is the patron saint of Wales? Comment your answer below. Separated from the Welsh mainland by the Menai Strait, Anglesey is the largest island in Wales and one of the most historically significant areas in Britain. The island is low-lying and fertile, with a long history of farming and livestock rearing, contrasting with the rugged mountainous terrain of the rest of Wales. Anglesey was a major center of Druidic culture during the Iron Age and was where the Romans landed to crush the Druids. Beaumaris Castle, one of King Edward I's most impressive fortresses, still stands as a symbol of English dominance. The Menai Suspension Bridge, designed by Thomas Telford, connected the island to the mainland in 1826, opening a new era for trade and travel. To this day, it remains one of the most famous bridges in the United Kingdom. Anglesey's coastline stretches 125 miles, much of which has been designated as an area of outstanding natural beauty since 1966. The coastal path provides an ideal route for outdoor activities and nature exploration. South Stack Lighthouse and the sandy beaches are among the key attractions drawing interest. In the 18th century, Paris Mountain was the largest copper mine in Europe, serving as an economic engine for the region. Anglesey also retains many prehistoric remains, including burial mounds and standing stones. The world is full of amazing places waiting to be discovered. Subscribe and let's explore them together. Few people know that the joints of the Pontcysyllte Aqueduct were once sealed with a mixture of flannel wool, white lead, and iron filings, a unique handcrafted technique that has kept the structure strong for over 2 centuries. The Pontcysyllte Aqueduct is a navigable aqueduct located in northeastern Wales in Wrexham County, spanning the Dee Valley. It is the longest and highest aqueduct in Britain, with a length of 307 meters and a height of 38 meters above the river below. The structure was designed by 2 renowned civil engineers, Thomas Telford and William Jessup, and was built between 1795 and 1805. The aqueduct consists of 18 cast iron and stone arched spans, with a cast iron trough carrying water and the canal. The iron trough is 3.7 meters wide and 1.6 meters deep, sufficient for narrowboats to pass through. Beside the water trough is a narrow footpath offering panoramic views of the Dee Valley from above. The aqueduct was built as part of the Ellesmere Canal, intended to connect the coal and slate mines in northeastern Wales with industrial centres. The canal later became the Llangollen Canal and remains in use to this day. In 2009, the Pontcysyllte Aqueduct and its 18-kilometer canal section were inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you enjoyed this journey, you can support the channel with a small coffee rel. Your support helps me keep creating more travel videos like this. Thank you so much. Llandudno is a coastal town located on the Llyn Peninsula in Conwy County. The town's name derives from the Church of St. Tudno, a 6th century monk. The area has evidence of habitation dating back to the Neolithic period, and copper mining on the Great Orme headland took place as early as the Bronze Age. Before the 1840s, Llandudno was little more than a small fishing and mining village. The town's development into a seaside resort began in the mid-19th century, with leased plots and hotels appearing along the shoreline. The arrival of the railway accelerated this growth, and the first pier was built in the late 1850s. By the early 20th century, the Great Orme Tramway had been developed. Llandudno has been called the Queen of Welsh Resorts due to its well-preserved Victorian architecture and its extensive seaside promenade. The Llandudno Pier, 376 meters long, is one of the longest piers in Britain and a notable attraction. The town has two main beaches, the North Beach with its palm-lined promenade and the West Beach offering views of the Snowdonia mountain range. The Great Orme Headland is a prominent natural landmark, featuring attractions such as the Bronze Age copper mines and a modern cable car system. Llandudno also has connections to Alice Liddell, the inspiration for Alice in Wonderland, who spent summer holidays here. Cultural events such as the annual Victorian Festival draw community interest. The Gower Peninsula is one of the best preserved coastal areas in the United Kingdom. Designated as the first area of outstanding natural beauty in the UK in 1956, Gower covers approximately 180 kilometers with a diverse coastline. The peninsula is known for its varied landscapes, from impressive limestone cliffs in the south to stretches of golden sandy beaches in the north. Broceli Bay is one of the most famous beaches, with about 5 kilometers of sandy shoreline and views of Worm's Head, a headland ideal for walking at low tide. Other beaches such as Three Cliffs Bay, Oxwich Bay, and Caswell Bay also attract interest for their striking scenery and water sports activities. Gower contains many ancient caves, with Paviland Cave being the site where an ancient human skeleton dating back approximately 33,000 years was discovered, one of the oldest ceremonial burials in Western Europe. The peninsula also features numerous historical sites from various periods, including Oystermouth, Pennard, and Weobley castles, which bear witness to Norman presence. On the summit of Cefn Bryn, Arthur's Stone is a Neolithic burial chamber associated with legends of King Arthur. Gower is a popular destination for outdoor activities such as hiking along the 74-kilometer Wales Coast Path that surrounds the peninsula and surfing at beaches like Llangennith. The sandstone and limestone cliffs rise above the blue waters of the Irish Sea, where waves have eroded the coastline to form long stretches of sandy beaches. This coastal area in southwestern Wales has been protected as a national park since 1952. Pembrokeshire has a long and diverse coastline with numerous small bays and offshore islands. The Pembrokeshire Coast National Park covers an area of approximately 629 kilometers, encompassing 4 main regions: the South Coast, the Dogladow Estuary, St. Bride's Bay, and the Preseli Hills inland. The Preseli Hills are the source of the bluestones used in the construction of Stonehenge, located about 400 kilometers to the east. Archaeological sites in the area include the Pentre Ifan burial chamber and Iron Age hill forts. The coastline features sandy beaches such as Barafundle and Broadhaven, along with high cliffs. The island is home to seabird colonies, including puffins and gannets. The Pembrokeshire Coast Path, approximately 299 kilometers long, was opened in 1970 and runs along the coastline. The coast path connects old market towns like Haverfordwest and Pembroke before reaching Fishguard, where ferries still cross the sea to Ireland. Would you love to explore Pembrokeshire? Comment 1 if yes, or 2 if maybe someday. Aberystwyth is a coastal town located in mid-Wales on the shores of Cardigan Bay, where the River Rheidol flows into the Irish Sea. The town's name in Welsh means mouth of the River Ystwyth, although in reality only the River Rheidol flows through the town centre. Aberystwyth is one of the important coastal towns of Wales, with a long shoreline and sandy beaches stretching approximately 3 kilometers. The seaside promenade runs from Constitution Hill to the South Harbour, providing a route along the coast. The Royal Pier and the Constitution Hill Funicular Railway are two structures that attract interest. Aberystwyth is an important educational centre in Wales, home to Aberystwyth University and the National Library of Wales. The National Library is one of the legal deposit libraries of the United Kingdom, housing millions of books and documents on Welsh history and culture. The town also serves as a cultural and administrative centre for the Mid Wales region. Notable architectural landmarks include the old college building of the university and the Gothic-style railway station. Aberystwyth has transport connections to other parts of Wales and the UK via road and rail. The town is conveniently located for access to the rural and coastal areas of Mid Wales. In 1471, Tenby sheltered a young Henry Tudor from his enemies. He later became King Henry VII, defeating Richard III at Bosworth Field in 1485. The town's medieval walls still stand today. They were built in the late 13th century during the reign of Edward I. Few medieval fortifications in Britain have survived this well. Four beaches sit within walking distance of the town centre. Each one has a different character, from sheltered coves to open sand. The town's beaches were ranked as the best in the UK in a 2025 Which survey based on factors such as water quality, cleanliness, and scenic value. St. Mary's Church dates back to the 15th century. So does the Tudor Merchant's House, now preserved by the National Trust. The Tenby Museum nearby holds local history and maritime artifacts. From Tenby Harbour, boats can be taken to Caldey Island, which has a Cistercian monastery established in the early 20th century, although monastic life on the island dates back to the 12th century. The island is known for its white Italian-style church built in 1906, which is a prominent landmark visible from the mainland. Near the town is also Palmerston Fort on St. Catherine's Island, built in the 19th century as part of coastal defenses against potential French invasion, and later used as a zoo in the 1960s. Tenby is connected to other parts of Wales by rail and road, with a railway station on the West Wales Line linking it to Swansea and Cardiff. The castle was built by the Princes of Wales as a defensive fortress, but less than 2 decades later, it was burned down by its own builders to prevent it from falling into English hands. Dinas Brân Castle is a medieval fortress situated on a hilltop above the town of Llangollen in Denbighshire, Wales. The current stone castle is believed to have been constructed by Gruffydd Maelor II, a prince of Powys Fadog, in the 1260s. The site was chosen on a hilltop that had previously been an Iron Age hill fort built by the Ordovices tribe around 600 BC. The castle features rectangular stone walls, with the northern side protected by the natural steep slope of the hill. At the southeast corner stands a 2-story keep, the most fortified part of the castle, with access protected by a narrow passageway. In 1277, during the conflict between Llywelyn ap Gruffydd and King Edward I of England, the castle's garrison set fire to the structure to prevent its use by English forces. Although burned, the stone walls remained largely intact and were considered to retain strategic value. However, Edward I chose not to rebuild the castle, and instead granted the lordship of the area to John de Warenne, Earl of Surrey. De Warenne opted to build a new castle at Holt on the River Dee, rather than restore Dinas Brân. Dinas Brân Castle later became an inspiration for prominent painters such as J.M.W. Turner and Richard Wilson. Cardigan Bay is a large inlet of the Irish Sea located along the west coast of Wales, extending from the Llyn Peninsula in the north to the Pembrokeshire Peninsula in the south. With a length of approximately 105 kilometers, it is the largest bay in Wales, encompassing the entire coastline of the counties of Ceredigion, Gwynedd, and part of Pembrokeshire. Much of the land along the bay is fertile agricultural land, and along the coast are resort towns such as Aberystwyth, Barmouth, Fishguard, Pwllheli, and Criccieth. The maritime industry was once a major economic activity in this area. During the 19th century, Cardigan Port was a more important harbor than Cardiff, with over 300 vessels registered there. The northern and central waters of the bay are associated with the legend of Cantre'r Gwaelod, a low-lying, fertile land that sank beneath the sea. Evidence suggests that fossilized forests once extended across this submerged area and have been exposed on Barmouth Beach after winter storms. Cardigan Bay is also known for its diverse marine ecosystem and has been designated a special area of conservation to protect the wildlife inhabiting the area. We gather info from many sources. If something seems off or you've got more to add, drop a comment. After its dissolution in 1536, Tintern Abbey was not simply an abandoned ruin, but was also used as a site for iron wire production in the Wye Valley. Tintern Abbey is a Cistercian monastery that was once a symbol of Gothic architecture in Britain. The abbey was founded in 1131 by Walter Fitz-Richard of Clare, a Norman lord of Chepstow, and became the first Cistercian abbey in Wales. The first monks came from the Mother Abbey of Lomone in France and initially lived in temporary wooden structures. By the mid-12th century, they had built a stone church and modest monastic ranges. Construction of the Grand Gothic Church began in 1269 and was consecrated in 1301. In 1536, during the dissolution of the monasteries under King Henry V, the abbey was dissolved. The buildings were stripped of lead roofs, abandoned, and gradually fell into ruin. The ruins were later used as a site for iron wire production in the valley. By the late 18th century, the ruins became a popular destination for poets and painters of the Romantic period. The poet William Wordsworth immortalized the site in his poem, while painter J.M.W. Turner also depicted the ruins on several occasions. The surviving church is a fine example of Gothic architecture, with its west front featuring a 7-light window and tall vaulted arches. From 1901, the site was purchased by the British government and conservation programs were carried out. It is now managed by Cadw and open to the public for visits and research. From a small Roman fort established in the 1st century, Cardiff has grown into the capital and largest city of Wales. The city is located in the south of the country, on the shores of the Bristol Channel, where the River Taff flows into the sea. The name Cardiff is derived from the Welsh Caertaff, meaning fort on the Taff. After the Romans left, the fort was abandoned, but the surrounding settlement continued to exist. In the 11th century, the Normans built a wooden castle on the site of the old Roman fort, marking the beginning of the city's continuous existence. The castle was later rebuilt in stone and served as a base for the lords of Glamorgan for many centuries. Cardiff's expansion began with the development of coal and iron ore mines to the north from the latter half of the 18th century. The Glamorganshire Canal was opened in 1794, connecting the mining region with the city. The first dock was built in 1798, and later railway lines expanded the connections. By 1913, the city had become the world's largest coal exporting port. In 1905, the city was granted city status, and in 1955, it was officially recognized as the capital of Wales. In the 1980s, the old Dockland area was redeveloped into Cardiff Bay. Today, it is the most important administrative, shopping, and cultural centre of Wales, with landmarks including Cardiff Castle and the Wales Millennium Centre. Unknown to many, Conwy Castle was built on the site of an important Cistercian monastery, where Llywelyn the Great, one of the most powerful princes of Wales, was buried, as a statement of English authority. Conwy Castle is a medieval fortress located in the town of Conwy, on the north coast of Wales. The structure was built between 1283 and 1289 under the direction of King Edward I as part of his second campaign to subdue Wales. The castle was designed by the architect James of St. George, with a total construction cost of approximately £15,000, a substantial sum at the time. The castle was built on a rocky outcrop overlooking the Conwy estuary, with a design consisting of two wards, the outer ward and the inner ward, defended by 8 large round towers and 2 barbicans. The inner ward housed the royal apartments and great hall, while the outer ward contained the kitchens, stables, and prison. In 1294, the castle endured a prolonged siege during the revolt of Madog ap Llywelyn, with King Edward I trapped inside. By 1399, King Richard II used the castle as a refuge and as a venue for negotiations before his abdication. In 1401, the castle was captured for 3 months by forces loyal to Owain Glyndwr, following a surprise attack. During the English Civil War, the castle was held by royalist forces before surrendering in 1646, and was partially destroyed to render it militarily useless in 1655. The flat-topped hills stretch across the open sky, where U-shaped valleys and steep cliffs bear the mark of ancient glaciers from thousands of years ago. This area of South Wales has been protected as a national park since 1957, known as the Brecon Beacons, or Banau Brecaniog in Welsh. The national park extends from the town of Hay-on-Wye in the east to Llandudno in the west, covering an area of approximately 1,344 kilometers. The area includes 4 main mountain ranges: the Black Mountains to the east, the Central Beacons in the center, and Forest Far and the Black Mountain to the west, each with distinct topographical features. Pen y Fan, at 886 meters, is the highest point in South Wales and one of the most frequented walking destinations. The landscape of the national park was formed from old red sandstone dating back hundreds of millions of years, along with the effects of glaciers from the last ice age, which created U-shaped valleys, cirques, and steep escarpments. The Forest Far area, in the western part of the park, was designated a UNESCO Global Geopark in 2005. The entire national park has also been recognized as an international dark sky reserve due to its night sky quality and low levels of light pollution, allowing for astronomical observation. The rocks and sediments from the Snowdonia Mountains, carried down by glaciers thousands of years ago, contributed to the formation of Barmouth Beach as it is today. Barmouth Beach is a mixed sand and gravel beach located at the mouth of the Modoc Estuary on Cardigan Bay on the northwest coast of Wales. The formation of this beach is the result of complex interactions between geological, climatic, and hydrodynamic processes over thousands of years. During the last ice age, the Snowdonia Mountains were covered by a thick ice sheet. Glaciers from Snowdonia moved down the valleys, including the Modoc Valley, and extended onto the continental shelf of Cardigan Bay. These glaciers deepened and widened the valley, creating a broad basin that served as the foundation for the later estuary and beach. As the climate warmed, the ice began to melt, releasing large volumes of water and sediments. Rising sea levels flooded the coastal valleys, forming an estuary. A morainal complex formed at the seaward edge of the valley, acting as a natural barrier. Sedimentation continued, particularly over the last 5,000 to 6,000 years, contributing to the formation of mudflats and beaches. Hydrodynamic processes, such as waves and tides, reworked and redistributed the sediments. Wave action contributed to the formation of a mixed sand and gravel beach and also created coastal dunes. With a total height of approximately 73 to 80 meters, it is the tallest waterfall in Wales and is often listed among the 7 wonders of Wales. The waterfall is formed by the Afon Disgynfa River cascading down a sandstone cliff in 3 tiers, with the highest tier estimated at about 40 meters. The second tier is approximately 20 to 25 meters high, and the lowest tier about 10 to 15 meters, creating an impressive overall waterfall structure. The falls are situated on Ordovician shales and resistant volcanic ash layers, formed by ancient volcanic activity approximately 450 to 460 million years ago. A natural rock arch has been formed by water erosion of weaker shale layers, a unique geological feature. Above the falls, the river flows through upland terrain characterized by boulders and peat, with areas of wetland and mountain grassland. Below the falls, the water passes through a glacial valley with gravel deposits and riverbanks typical of lowland areas where plant and animal life becomes more diverse. The waterfall area has been designated a site of special scientific interest due to its geological and ecological value. Rare plant species, including mosses and lichens, can be found on the damp cliffs surrounding the falls. Known as the busiest mountain in the United Kingdom, Snowdon is the highest mountain in Wales and the highest point in the UK outside the Scottish Highlands, with an elevation of approximately 1,085 meters. The mountain is located in northern Wales and is the most prominent peak in Snowdonia National Park. The rocks that form Snowdon are of volcanic origin from the Ordovician period, with fossilized shell fragments found on the summit, providing evidence of life on the seabed over 500 million years ago. Subsequent glacial activity shaped the mountain's current form, including its sharp peaks and arête ridges such as Crib Goch and Llyn. The mountain attracts approximately 500,000 walkers each year. Six main routes lead to the summit, with the Llanberis Path considered the easiest and longest, while the Snowdon Horseshoe, crossing the narrow Crib Goch Ridge, requires climbing experience. The Snowdon Mountain Railway, opened in 1896, carries passengers from Llanberis to near the summit, using a rack and pinion system unique in the UK. The cliffs on Snowdon, particularly Clogwyn Ardw, are significant in British climbing history and were used by Edmund Hillary for training before his 1953 Everest expedition. When the English Civil War ended, Harlech Castle was the final royalist fortress to surrender. The government ordered it destroyed, but that order was never followed. the castle stayed, and it's still there today. Harlech Castle is a medieval fortress located in the town of Harlech, Gwynedd, on the northwest coast of Wales. The castle was built between 1283 and 1289 under the direction of King Edward I of England as part of his second campaign to conquer Wales. The castle was designed by the architect James of St. George, with a construction cost of approximately £8,190 at the time. It is a classic example of a concentric castle, with 2 rings of defensive walls and fortified towers. The castle was built on a rocky outcrop overlooking the Irish Sea, with a strategic position allowing supply by sea via a staircase approximately 60 meters long, leading down to the base of the cliff. In 1294, the castle successfully withstood a siege by Madog ap Llywelyn thanks to this supply route. In 1404, the castle was captured by forces led by Owain Glyndwr, who used it as his headquarters for 4 years and held a parliament there. During the Wars of the Roses, the castle was the last Lancastrian stronghold to surrender in 1468 after a 7-year siege, an event believed to have inspired the song Men of Harlech. Ham. This region in northwest Wales once served as an important pilgrimage route for those traveling to Bardsey Island, and its relative isolation has helped preserve the Welsh language and local culture over the centuries. The peninsula lies southwest of Anglesey, extending into the Irish Sea, with a long and varied coastline. The eastern part of the peninsula, around the Criccieth area, is considered part of the Ifeonydd region rather than Llyn. The peninsula contains several protected areas, including a national nature reserve at Cors Gaerch, a national heritage coastline, and 20 sites of special scientific interest. Much of the coastline and the upland areas are designated as an area of outstanding natural beauty, recognizing the landscape quality as among the finest in Britain. The local economy was formerly based on granite quarrying in the north and the extraction of metals such as copper, zinc, lead, and manganese. These activities have largely ceased for several decades. The peninsula has a long coastline, with beaches such as Llanbewdrog and Porthnigal, also known as Hell's Mouth, a destination for water sports activities. Tourism developed from 1867 onwards, following the construction of the railway line to Pwllheli, which improved connections with other parts of Wales. Out in the Menai Strait, where the tides run fast and rough, there's a tiny island called Ynys Goch. It's been there forever. The island lies close to two famous bridges, the Menai Suspension Bridge and the Britannia Bridge. The island is very small, covering approximately 0.0047 kilometers, and contains two houses, one of which is a former smokehouse, converted into a dwelling. The fish weirs are among the best preserved of about 20 weirs in the Menai Strait. The two stone walls of the weir face in different directions, allowing fish to be caught regardless of whether the tide is rising or falling. Fishing on the island has a long history, with the earliest record dating from 1590. The weirs were used continuously until 1959. In the early 20th century, the island also became a destination for visitors coming to enjoy tea with whitebait. Due to its location in the strait, where tidal ranges can exceed 10 meters, the house was designed to withstand flooding, with red tile floors and pumps to remove water. The area includes most of the catchment of the River Elan and its tributary the Clairwyn, draining from the southeastern slopes of the Cambrian Mountains. With its dissected plateau landscape, the deep valleys of the Elan and Clairwyn provide the only east-west route through this isolated region. The Elan Valley is known for its system of dams and reservoirs, constructed to supply clean water to the city of Birmingham. The project began in 1893 and was completed in 1904, with a total of 4 initial dams on the River Elan. An additional dam on the River Clairwyn was built between 1946 and 1952. A 73-mile aqueduct system conveys water to Birmingham without the need for pumping due to the elevation difference. The construction led to the displacement of approximately 100 people and the demolition of farms, a school, a church, and 2 large mansions. The Cwm Elan and Nantgwilt mansions were demolished to make way for the reservoirs. The area also contains Bronze Age remains, a Roman marching camp at Esgair Perfed, and 18th–19th century mining sites. The Elan Valley is associated with the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, who lived and wrote at Nantgwilt. A small arts and crafts style village was built in 1906 to 1909 to house workers operating the dams. Leaving Wales, you'll take with you more than just pictures. It's a small country on the map, but incredibly significant in the hearts of those who have visited. Wales doesn't seek attention, but once you find it, you'll never forget it. Thank you for watching. And who knows, perhaps you'll be the one to tell the story of Wales in the future. See you again